All right, hey everybody, this is another Music Wednesday. As you can tell, it's completely different than what we normally do, but obviously we're here with a very special guest. Lavender is the band, Maria, Dimitri, Jordania, which, all right, so we're at a bar, what, month ago, 2 months ago?
Last month.
And somebody says, Maria, when are you going to sing again? And I was like, oh, okay, you sing? Because we know each other. We hung out at Bonnaroo. And I said, what's your last name? And you said, Jordania. And I've been around a long time, so that name rang a bell with me. And I was like, who's your dad? And you told me Vakhtang.
Yep, Vakhtang.
If you guys don't know, when I was coming up, Vakhtang Jordania was symphony rock and roll star. He's your dad. I don't know if you guys are aware. So I was pretty stunned. So wanted to have you on this show for two reasons. One, because you're terrific. That was great.
Thank you.
But also you had so many great stories.
I'm sorry.
It's what?
Jordania.
Jordania.
Yeah,
sorry.
but if you say
I got
Jordania, it
Vakhtang
doesn't
right,
matter.
but not
Yeah,
Jordania.
no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Barry. I should have said it
Thank
earlier.
you for correcting me. No, I'm
Oh my
glad
God,
to
edit
hear
that
it.
out. Oh man.
So who's older first?
I'm older.
Yeah.
A lot older.
Like couple years, few years. It
3.5.
Yeah.
3.5, 4
Between
years.
3 and 4, right.
So tell me what it was like growing up with a symphony conductor. And then we'll get into some of the other stories you had told me about your mom and how they met. Now, you were kind enough to bring the photo album.
Yes.
So tell me about your dad. Tell me about growing up.
So it was really strict for one thing. So we were forced to practice, but we got to kind of choose an instrument. We kind of were pushed to it, but it was a half-hour day, right? And no breaks between that. Like 1 day a week we got off. And every birthday went up a half hour until we were teenagers playing like 6 hours a day, and we hated it, right? Because it was, well, I don't know about her, but at the time I kind of didn't, I wasn't a huge fan of classical, so I rebelled with guitar, Right. Then later on I discovered jazz fusion and stuff like that, where they used an electric violin and effects and everything, and I liked that, so I, went back to it. But He
started on violin.
Yeah, he was very strict. He was a really good teacher. He was a really great teacher. Like I said, he got us started really young. So, that's I think that's why we're kind of easy to play a lot of instruments, or good at playing a lot of instruments.
I remember when we were growing up, I played piano and Dimitri played violin, and our dad was a conductor, and it was all classical music. And I remember, conductors have these scores that have every single instrument in the orchestra, like all of it. So they read like this, and they have to read like 36 instruments at a time. And I remember him being in his study and like marking it up, like marking it with blue and red markers. And it would be so loud all the time. And I'd say, Daddy, why is it so loud? And he said, I have to hear every instrument. And I thought, oh my God.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I remember, don't remember, but there was a concert, one of the PBS concerts from Chicago, I think. And I remember watching the conductor more intently than usual and calling Bob Bernhardt the next day and saying it was like watching the greatest football coach or whatever, because he, like you said, had to know what was happening in the back and over there and over there. And it's pretty crazy. But tell me how they met, because this is kind of a funny story.
Okay. So we're the product of a teacher-student relationship. Our mom was at Southern Adventist University, and our dad was teaching master classes at UTC, and she saw his, I found out this later. Did you know our dad did a commercial for the CSO? And it was like in front of a fireplace, like on a bearskin rug on television. And he was like, come have an evening with Vakhtang Jordania. Like, come have a night out with me in the symphony. It was like really suggestive. And Mom saw it. I've never seen it, but Mom told me about it. And she told me about it. And then she goes, I saw that. And then I thought, ooh. And I guess looked him up, and he was teaching classes. And she took his class, and she failed it the first time. And I don't know if she failed it on purpose or if he failed her.
Yeah, that's what you were telling me. The family controversy. Was she smart enough to have failed it? Or was he smart enough to have failed her? But either way, so she took it twice,
Took it twice, and then I guess passed the second time. And then they started dating, and he was 22 years older than her. And she comes from a very conservative family, and she's the baby of 3 sisters, and he's the baby of 3 brothers. And that's why I always said they love you more, because you're the baby and you get away with everything.
I didn't feel that way, but yeah, no.
So before we started taping again, Maria, you showed me the family album, the photo
Yes.
album, and one of your comments was, "We are a lot cooler now than we were
We're
then."
so much cooler now.
Is that, you agree or disagree?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what way, you know.
You're wearing a red cowboy hat and you're holding a.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Truck.
I guess in ways I'm cooler now. Yeah.
She said you guys were picked on a lot too because you were having to play music all the time and.
Yeah. Whereas a lot of people would be doing a lot of other extracurricular activities, we were practicing, a lot. But it was, like I said, it was good training. It ended up being worth it,
And if I remember, Maria, right, you guys moved for a while, right? You didn't live
Yeah.
here your whole life.
No, I was born here. It's funny. I was born here, and then we moved like immediately. And he was born in Spokane, Washington, and then we lived in the Republic of Georgia, where our dad's from. And yeah.
went to school there and stuff since
Oh, no kidding.
we were really little. Yeah, it's because he wanted us to learn languages, so we literally lived and went to school there and to do it, and that worked too. And then we lived 1 year. We lived in Kharkov in Ukraine, and Kharkov. I don't know how it.
how Americans say it.
Yeah, not like. Anyways, it's nowhere you can go nowadays, unfortunately, because
Gotcha.
of Eastern Russia, or
But we
Eastern
learned
Ukraine,
we
Russia.
learned Russian there. So
But what brought you back?
our mom's American, and our mom's family's here.
Okay.
And when our father passed away, I personally, he just moved here in June. I convinced him to move here. Yay! And but I moved back to get as far away from the sadness at home. It's
I got
kind
you.
of sad, but and then I got stuck here, and now I love it, and it's
All right. Well, tell us about Lavender and tell us about the music that we've just heard.
So my stage name is Lavender with no vowels. It's kind of tricky. People have a hard time with it sometimes until they figure it out. But that's my stage name because my hair was purple for like 11 years. And I'll go back eventually. But our live shows are mostly improv. And we have been writing some things, and I've been writing a lot and working on recording that and making it into music to spread out into the world. But it's what we do is we record our live improv shows,
Yeah.
and then we take snippets of it and are like, ooh, I like that groove. Let's turn that into a song, or let's put that into a song, and that's how we write.
Or you just make it up, yeah.
How is it for you stepping in with your sister, obviously, but with Marcus and Jacob?
Oh, they're great
Jared.
musicians.
Jared.
Yeah.
I'm going to
okay.
get it all wrong.
It's okay. Very.
They're all really great musicians. So they're both really, really great musicians. And she's my sister. And there is something to be said about the whole like families getting along musically when they're both musicians. Something kind of synchronized, not like psychic
Magic.
but
Magic, yeah.
not that, but
It's magic.
Sort of, yeah, right, but biological magic, yeah. But it's so that, and then I don't know, just they're really great musicians. They can play anything. So
Yeah.
Dimitri can hang. He went to
young.
Berkeley in Boston.
Nice.
He went to music school.
Yeah, the
not
Boston, the
EY,
Boston
the
Berkeley.
two
I
E's.
understand. I knew. I
the
figured.
music.
There is only one for me, and you have made that a possibility. We can take this time to see if this is really gonna be. Ooh, all you gotta do is say yes. Don't deny what you feel. Let me address promise it's gonna be alright. There is only one for me, and I take the time to see. Oh, all you gotta do is say yes. Don't deny what you feel, let me address you, baby. Open up your mind, just rest. I'm about to let you know you make me so, 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 so. You make me so. Hey, all you gotta do is say yes. Don't deny what you feel, let me undress you, baby. Open up your mind, just rest. I'm about to let you know you make me so, 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 so. You make me so.
Where can people see you guys? Where are you gonna play next? Do you know?
This is the same. I hate to upset people because I have no music out online yet. I have no YouTube. I'm like a ghost, but you can come see me live. But I
Now they have
haven't
this.
scheduled it. Yeah, now they have this. A little taste. I have a Facebook, LVNDR. Yeah, and I am Lavender. I period am period LVNDR on Instagram. I post every time we play. We're gonna do a show at Songbird South in December, January, coming up. I have to talk to Mike about that.
Yeah.
Solidify that date.
All right. Well, anything else that we can think of? We need to do this again because I think a lot of people out there are going to remember your dad, and
Yeah.
I think it's fascinating.
I was gonna say he was an incredibly generous man, and I've never seen as many people as I saw there at his funeral, and just that 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 were affected by him and whatnot. And like when I was going to school, like I met some of the head conducting department there. One of Shostakovich's other students was actually there.
Oh, tell them who you're named after.
Oh, Shostakovich.
Dimitri Shostakovich.
Dimitri Shostakovich, but mine's Dimitri. The Georgian version, it has an E, an I in between it.
But tell them why you're named after Dimitri Shostakovich.
Because he's a great composer, and
No.
because our father actually like studied under him.
Oh,
and,
When he was
and-
12.
Yeah.
He was a little kid, like right when he found out that he wanted to be a conductor. He studied under Shostakovich and like said he remembers watching him like writing his scores and that he would shake like this because he had MS and or Parkinson's or Parkinson's, yeah. And then but he's seen his scores and so he knows like how it was supposed to be played.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
it's one of his favorite to conduct. And
Yeah, I was gonna say
he's
everybody I knew that was like the biggest classical people in Boston. They all knew my father's name.
Yeah.
So, but
That's why I wanted to do this. I told you he was a rock star.
Thanks.
Absolutely. Dimitri, Maria,
Yes.
thank you. Marcus,
Thanks,
Jared,
Marcus and
thank you all
Jared
so
White.
much for doing this, and we'll do it again.
Yes.
Right on, yeah, thanks for having
Yes.
us.
All right. Thank you guys for watching.